Hello everybody, this is Alex Big Blue, and welcome to my Top 10 Scary Movies, Part 2. So last Halloween, I did my Top 10 Scary Movies, Part 1, and it was my favorite scary movies from number 10 all the way up to number 1, and this time it will be the next 10, so the bottom one on this will be my 20th favorite scary movie, and the top one will be my 11th favorite scary movie. So you could watch this one and then go up and watch the one from last year and you get the overall top 20 in order from 20 to 1 if you wanted to do that. So let's get right into it. Yeah. Number 10. A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place to me is really interesting and really good because I think the dynamic of trying to keep their family together and just trying to survive as a family and as humans when you can't make any noise is extremely difficult. And knowing that there's horrible monsters that will come out of nowhere almost within seconds and kill you potentially at any time you make the slightest peep is a really scary idea and really effectively used in the script. I really think anytime a noise happens, it really jump scares you pretty good generally. Yeah, it's just overall the characters are pretty good as well. I really like that. And I just think the story and the script and the way it all plays out is really good. I also really like the ending. Number 9, Halloween. Halloween is a great kind of almost slow burn movie, but it's not super slow, but it's certainly a lot of great setup that really helps make this movie. It's the first appearance of the Shape, aka Michael Myers. I think he is such an effective killer because the fact that he just sort of lurks and he's always kind of just out of sight, but you see him every once in a while kind of like a ghost. And his look, especially on the first 2 movies, is just really creepy and really well done in general. And the stalking presence of him and never knowing when he's going to show up and attack is just really great. I really think that really sells him as a character and this as a movie. And overall, it's just a really good, fun, classic, scary movie. The theme and directing, both by John Carpenter, is amazing. And the cast is pretty good in general as well. And the ending is, of course, classic, with panning to all the shadows at the end after he disappears. Oh, it's just great. Everything about it, just a great, classic, scary movie. Number 8, Fright Night. Fright Night is a really good movie because I think the characters in the script are really the backbone of it. I especially really like the Evil Ed character and everything with him in general, especially later on. And the young characters in general that's supposed to be teens, I don't know if they technically was or not, but all 3 of them were really strong in this, as well as the other antagonists as well. And the overall just character choices and development and all that kind of stuff really makes this a fun movie. And it's really actually pretty scary especially when it was made, you know what I mean? Like, I think they used all practical effects if I'm not mistaken, but really good, creepy looking vampires for sure. But in general, I really like that movie a lot, and I highly recommend you guys check out Fright Night if you haven't already seen it. It's a really fun time. Number 7, The Purge Anarchy. So The Purge Anarchy, or The Purge 2, is kind of a great movie because I think it capitalizes on what The Purge is. You get to see how much chaos there truly is, while still keeping it very scary because you're really worried about the characters in this. The presence of any danger that could pop out of anywhere at any time really adds to the drama of this. And even though it has a little bit of almost action elements mixed in, I still feel like at its core it's definitely a scary movie. And I just think the lead character is really great in this. And all the other ones I really like as well. And the script is pretty fun. It's just crazy enough to keep it kind of interesting and unpredictable without getting too out there, I feel like, which some of the later ones does. But yeah, this movie is really good, and it's a good difference from the first one, because the first one was pure scary movie and a lot different because they was holed up kind of in the house mostly. This one really has the chaos element and the fear of actually being out in the purge. Number 6, Get Out. Get Out is a really good movie because the lead character is in a really interesting predicament. The script is really a good start anyways, and the idea for this both. So it's kind of almost an unraveling mystery as it goes along. And I really like the family aspect of this and the kind of fish out of water aspect to it as well. And I think the psychological as well as physical horror that happens to him and around him, and some of the other characters too, is really unique. And I think him trying to figure out what to do, what exactly all is going on, is a huge plus of this movie, and it's super entertaining all the way throughout. Number 5, Split. So Split is a really good movie because I think it's really anchored by the acting of James McAvoy and also Anya Taylor-Joy. Both of their characters are really good and really well written for that matter. But, and I just really enjoy both of them in this movie a lot. That's the sole focus is anyways, but the other characters are fine as well, by the way. The script is really a good script. I like the directing and all that as well. But I have to say, James McAvoy portraying all of those different personalities and his effectiveness to do so is almost unbelievable. He really does seem like other people. He does it so well. And I think it's a really good, scary movie, especially towards the end. But I think in general, it's kind of creepy and unsettling in certain parts here and there. And that's kind of what makes it such an effective movie, I think. Just the fact that you don't never exactly know what's going on until you see ultimately what is, I feel like. And Anya Taylor-Joy's character is such a good character because she's real and kind of a survivalist mindset, just through knowledge she's obtained from happen to read and hear things, that it really makes her really relatable and really likable. You really want her to be able to make it out of this. So I think both of those two actors and their characters really sell this movie. But I really like it a lot. And the twists and anything like that towards the end is really good as well. Number 4, Scream 4. Scream 4 is a really good sequel to the original one. I know it's not the direct sequel, but as much as I like the second one, the fourth one is quite a bit ahead of it in my opinion, because I really like the new characters all introduced. All of them, well, especially some of them, but I mean, in general, they were all good additions to the cast, and especially Kirby. That character was great. Played by Hayden Panettiere. She's really good in this. Kind of like, with that being that you don't have Randy anymore, she's kind of a good, kind of different take on him almost in a way. And I also really liked the other movie geek characters in this. They were really fun as well. I really liked all 3 of those characters, as well as Jill, I believe her name is, which is the niece of Sydney. She's a really good character in this as well. And, of course, Sydney and the other returnees like Dewey and Gail are also really well done in this. And they all have stuff to do, and I actually really appreciate the overall stuff they have here. But it's just a great movie that really makes it back scary again after the third one really kind of threw it off there. So really scary and really violent at times, which I appreciate for this, because that's what it's supposed to, that's the way it always has been since the first one. So it really capitalizes on all the stuff, in my opinion, that made the first one great and does it better than any of them except for the first one. So I really like this movie a lot. Number 3, It Follows. It Follows is really great because the creature itself, once you do the deed and it starts coming after you, it's really creepy and a really just great, scary idea that it's always coming towards you. No matter how slow it's going, wherever it's at, wherever you're at, it's always coming for you at all times. And you can never catch a break without having to wonder where it's at. That idea alone, let alone the effectiveness that they do with it in this, is just really good. I really like that in general. And the cast in this are mostly all young teenagers that actually feel like real teenagers, and I also don't know what other movies they're in for it very much or anything. So they feel more like real people to me for that reason too. So they did just a great job on casting and acting. And I think that adds to the creepiness of the movie the fact that they didn't have any huge actors or anything like that in it was a good idea. And yeah, the creature itself and the overall script and just scenarios it plays out, just really well done. I really like it a lot. Number 2, Vacancy. Vacancy is a really good movie. Luke Wilson and Kate Beckinsale's characters from the very start are kind of at each other's throats and are kind of antagonistic against each other. And at first you're not sure why, but it comes to reveal that later, and it makes so much sense that it's really good. I really like that backstory for them. And beyond that, this is a really good, scary, trying to survive type of movie. Both of those two do such a great job acting here. Their characters are both very relatable, and you really feel for them, and you really want them to make it out of this scenario. The killers are also really scary and really creepy. Any other actors that shows up in between that besides them are done well as well. Good acting by them. And I just really think this idea of being in a hotel room is kind of so just, and the way they find out about it is really a good setup as well. And the idea of that, knowing that people was going to come in and try to kill you, and you have to try to figure out a way around that, and there's multiple of them, and you've seen the evidence yourself, just such a great idea and setup for a movie in general. I really liked it a lot. But this is a really interesting movie all the way throughout. It definitely never loses your attention if you're into scary movies, that's for sure. But yeah, I really absolutely love this movie. Great acting and a good script all the way through. And number 1, Youre Next. If you're looking for a really fun, scary movie, while also still being really scary and also violent as well, Youre Next is definitely that movie. It's got an overall just very kind of eclectic and different type of vibe to it. It's almost incomparable to other movies in a way because of the mixes of genres and tones it has. But it does it all perfect in my opinion. I really like it a lot. The lead actress is really good in this. Her character is great. And it's good to see somebody who is intelligent in a scary movie. You know what I mean? Like having a character that knows what they're doing for once. So it's kind of good and you're really rooting for her as well as some of the other characters as well. I also really like the one brother character who's kind of a jerk, but he's also kind of so real, and it seems like he means well to some extent anyways. So I actually really like that character as well. And the killers in this and their masks and the way they do everything is really creepy and really effective. I really like the scary setup for this. And overall, it's just a really intense, really fast-paced movie that never loses my interest at any point. And I really like the ending, what all happens there. I'm not going to say anything, obviously, but just really cool. And the Dwight Twilley Band song that keeps playing throughout this is just a great song anyways. But it works so perfectly with this. It really blends all of the movie and everything together with that so well. But yeah, I just absolutely love this movie. Definitely check it out if you guys haven't seen it yet. Thank you guys so much for watching my Top 10 Scary Movies Part 2. This has been my top 20 through 11 favorite scary movies. If you'd like to see my Top 10 Scary Movies Part 1, where you get to see my top 10 favorite scary movies, you can also do that. I will link that here and I'll try to put the video at the end as well. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. Have a happy Halloween, guys. And thank you guys so much for watching all of my Halloween episodes this year. I really enjoy doing those, and I'll probably do the same next year.